The Blue Jay lineup tonight will be Devon White leading off and playing center field. Roberto Alomar at second base. Kelly Gruber will be at third. Joe Carter in right field. John Olerud at first base. Rance Mullenix, the designated hitter. Greg Myers behind the plate. Manuel Lee at shortstop. And Mookie Wilson in left field. The umpires will be Darrell Cousins calling the balls and strikes tonight. Rocky Rowe at first base, Rick Reed at second, and the crew chief, Joe Brinkman, calling the plays at third. The night is a beautiful one. This is the first nice day, really, that we've had for baseball at Fenway Park this year. A nice 60-degree day, very spring light, and expected to last through this game. Maybe tomorrow will be a different story, but at least it is very pleasant for this one. A lot of people here, not bang-out crowd tonight, but a mess of them, to see Roger Clemens try to make it 4 in a row.
Well, if they see anything like they were watching last night here at the ballpark, it should be a great game. That was some ball game last night. Had a little bit of everything, some good pitching, some great defense in that game, and plenty of offense. So,
spectators kind of game. I don't know whether Roger's going to try to silence the bat, and it'll be interesting to see the left-hander, Denis Boucher, who is raising a lot of eyebrows and causing a lot of talk around Canada as to how the Montreal Expos could ever let a native go.
All right, we'll give you the defense now for the Red Sox. Wade Boggs at third base, Tim Nehring the shortstop, Jody Reed at second, and Carlos Quintana at first. Left to right will be Mike Greenwell, Ellis Burks, and Tom Brunansky. Tony Pena behind the plate. And on the mound looking for his 4th win of the season will be Roger Clemens. Of course, Clemens 3-0. with an ERA of 0.36. He's pitched a total of 25 innings, only allowed 12 hits. He struck out 27 and incredibly only 1 walk. Opponents are hitting 140 off Clemens so far this season. He has 1 win against Toronto this year. That was on opening day up at the Sky Dome in Toronto. And since that, he's just been, well, just about unhittable for any club that's had to face him so far this season.
Has never been in really deep, serious trouble because his mates got those quick 6 runs up there when Jack Clark hit the grand slam, and Roger gave 1 run in the time that he worked in the 7 innings. And since then has just been an immense pitcher, probably pitching more than just powering people, because he's finessed and gotten the other pitches that he's worked on all these years down to a fine point where he can throw any of them at any given time, and a batter has to be ready for 4 instead of just the heater.
All 3 outings for Clemens so far have been really different. The first time against Toronto, the Toronto hitters really helped him out by swinging early in the count. A lot of first pitch, second pitch swinging, and in that game threw a lot of breaking balls. The next time out against Cleveland, he had an excellent fastball in that game. And then the last time out against Kansas City, he did not have his forkball at all. He had trouble controlling it, so he basically got away with the fastball and the slider and an occasional curveball. But that's what we talk about. He does not have to have all his pitches to win games. Sometimes he can get by with just 1 good pitch on that particular night.
And he's been able to come up with the pitch that he has needed at the right time so far this year. That's the other batters talk about. Well, you really can't give in to him at all. You can't get behind him, certainly. And he's making great pitches at times when he just gets you out. He's pitching now, not just blazing it by people, which he did so well for so many times in 1986 on.
Opponents have not hit a home run off Clemens in his last 17 starts. That includes 2 championship game starts, and this Toronto ball club is second in the American League to this point in home runs. They're 1 behind the Detroit Tigers. Tigers have hit 14, and Toronto hit 13 up to this point.
Last homer against him, Jack Doherty hit it July 8th, 1990. Last July 8th in Texas.
Of course, last year he only allowed 7 all season long, and all 7 of those home runs were to left-handed hitters.
So Clemens is ready to go against Toronto, a team that he has beaten 10 times in his career. They have beaten him 4 times. One thing that Clemens said that was good about the Toronto outing was that he was able to keep the 2 guys at the top of the order completely at bay and off the bases, and one of them, Devon White, standing in now. White hitting .298 for the season so far from his leadoff spot with 9 runs batted in. Clemens shut him down, as he did Roberto Alomar, who was on deck. Boggs in on the grass, and a foul. We're underway. Strike one. So White goes after that first pitch. The breeze is blowing out toward left tonight. Pretty good hitter's wind again, going toward center and then toward left. Late on the fastball. Strike two. It is 64 degrees with the wind coming out of the west, about 17 miles an hour.
Well, that's a nice change.
Yes, it is. For us, it certainly is up here, instead of having it in your nose all the time. The two-strike pitch to Devon White. Strike three. Just blew him away. Going upstairs with a fastball, and White is out.
First couple of innings are so important when you're facing a guy like Clemens, because you find out very quickly if he has it that night or he does not have it. If he does not have it early, you better get to him early, because he has a chance to get it later on in the game. 3 pitches to Devon White, a couple of fastballs, and got away there with a high breaking pitch.
Roberto Alomar, the second baseman, up. He's hitting .278. Pumps one toward left. Greenwell on his way. Can't get to it. It's a foul ball.
Looked like a fan reached out and touched that ball, and there's not much room between the stands and the foul line in that particular area. There's no way Greenwell was going to be able to make a play on it. Question is whether it was going to land fair or foul. See, some fan right here reaching over and getting a hand on it. Yeah, that was definitely, though, in foul territory.
He was slicing all the way off the bat of Alomar. Nothing in one. And Alomar down in a hurry. And Clemens looking up there and saying, I'm a little worried about that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Alomar's a little worried about it, too.
Something you very seldom see Roger Clemens do, and that's come up and in on any hitter, whether it be right-handed or left-handed hitter. And with the reaction from Clemens, that's certainly not an intentional pitch on his part. Probably did want to come inside, though.
1 ball and 1 strike. Fires that one away, and it's 2-1. Broadway. Strike 2.
You know, Clemens really does have a deliberate motion, very slow windup, and then that fastball just explodes on the hitter.
Strike 3. Boom, boom, boom. 2 down on strikes. Fans eat that up.
Nothing tricky about this to Alomar. He just stayed basically with number 1, the good old-fashioned fastball, and just threw it right by the left-handed hitter.
2 down on strikeouts. And here's Kelly Gruber, third baseman, batting .304 with 3 home runs and 8 batted in. And a strike. Gruber had nothing but nice things to say to Tom Larson in the pregame show about Roger Clemens. But he said, you know, we just love to get him tonight. He's tough, but try to do something about getting to him. Thing is, though, here's the first inning, 2 strikeouts, and it's 0-2 to Gruber. One ball, 2 strikes.
Different ballpark when Clemens is on the mound. They get excited about every pitch.
Yes, they do. They will not be deterred by throwing balls or wild pitches. Gruber's getting a foul anyway. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kelly with Joe Carter on deck.
A chance now to mention that Danny Darwin has been put on the disabled list by the Red Sox. As a matter of fact, they're going to send him back to Texas, get in that warm weather where he can get rid of that pneumonia that he has and also rest the shoulder, inflammation of the shoulder, and well, that time will certainly help that situation out.
Well, you'd think once you know that he has bronchial pneumonia that he's going to go on the DL, and he was officially placed on just before game time. An overpowering inning for Roger Clemens as he strikes out the side. We go to the bottom of the first, no score. The Red Sox lineup tonight has Wade Boggs at third base, Jody Reed at second, Mike Greenwell in left, Jack Clark the hitter, Ellis Burks in center field, Tom Brunansky in right, Carlos Quintana first base, Tony Pena catcher, and Tim Naehring at shortstop.
And a defense for the Toronto Blue Jays. Kelly Gruber at third base, Manuel Lee the shortstop, Roberto Alomar at second, and John Olerud at first. Left to right will be Mookie Wilson, Devon White, and Joe Carter. Greg Myers behind the plate, and on the mound, left-handed rookie Denny Boucher. Boucher has 2 no decisions so far. Has pitched very well, though, an ERA of 2.92. Only 9 hits in 12 and a third innings. He struck out 3, he's walked 4, and held opponents to a 205 batting average. And from what everybody tells me, very, very similar to Jimmy Key, the left-hander that Toronto has. Same type of pitches, maybe a little bit better fastball than Jimmy Key, and supposedly has a great move to first base.
23 years old, 6'1", 195. From Montreal originally, born there. Lives in Lachine now. Denis Boucher. French extraction, born in Montreal, and Toronto has him. Here's Boggs. Wade hit his second home run of the season last night. He's hitting .279. Ball 1. Boucher, in his young career, starting at Myrtle Beach 4 years ago, has had about a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Spilled foul by Boggs. The count is 1-1. Signed by a free agent by the Blue Jays in August of 1987. One ball and 1 strike to Boggs. Boucher kind of comes around the corner at you. That big kick hides the ball behind and then kicks and throws.
Well, I can see what they're talking about when they talk about the same type of delivery as Jimmy Key. He turns his back to you. That shows you a lot of that back pocket, and then comes around the corner.
The 2-1 delivery about to be made to Wade. Fouled off. Nobody has been called up from Pawtucket as yet, with Danny Darwin being on the disabled list now and going back to Texas for a while.
Talking in the Red Sox dugout this afternoon with Joe Morgan, he was kind of leaning toward Darrell Irvin to be called up, put him in the bullpen, and then of course start Dana Kicker in Darwin's spot.
He'd be the logical one to go in there. Boggs to first, tries to hook the ball around there and is put out by Olerud. 1 out. One down in the Red Sox first inning, and Jody Reed coming to the plate. Weather, more Reed's kind of weather today and tonight, but he's fighting a very tough April right now. 4 hits in 43 times at bat so far this year. 1 run batted in. You can see how much he gives up to the season because his Aprils are always poor ones, and you see how well he hits after that.
Yeah, once April gets out of the way, he hits about 290 to 300 the rest of the season. At least that's been his history so far.
1 ball, no strikes. And a 2-0 count.
A couple of years back, Ned, when I was coaching in the Red Sox organization at the AA level, Reed was the shortstop on that team, and the same thing in the minor leagues. He was after an awful start at the beginning of the year. I mean, hitting about 150, and then he got called to Pawtucket and just took off from there.
Ball hit toward the wall in left field, but it's going to be off the wall. Played there by Mookie Wilson, bobbles it a bit, and Reed's at second. It's a double. For a minute, it looked as if Mookie Wilson would try to make the catch at the wall, then quickly turned around for the carom.
Every once in a while, you have to catch a break, and I believe Jody Reed catches a break on this line drive. It looked like if Mookie would have went right back to the wall, he would have had a chance to catch this ball. It did not hit that high on that scoreboard, and he just kind of backed off So many problems in left field for a lot of left fielders here at Fenway Park. And as deep as Mookie is, you'd think he'd just back himself up against the wall and see if he could make the play.
Yeah, I believe if he'd been able to pin himself against the wall and jump a little bit, he would have had that. But if bullfrogs had wings, they wouldn't bump, you know. Here's Greenwell. Mike Greenwell hitting .289 with 1 home run. The pickoff attempt, and almost, but not quite, as Jody gets back. Shortstop Manuel Lee coming in right behind the daylight and almost picked him off.
You'll see that most of the time with the left-handed hitter at the plate because the shortstop is cheating towards second base, and very close play.
The bluff by Lee this time, and a strike to Greenwell. Reed at second with 1 out.
Red Sox hitting .228 as a team, but against left-handed pitching, they're hitting .301.
That, in all probability, will obtain most of this year because they've had the 2 left-handers on the club. Greenwell and Boggs hit left-handers pretty well.
Right, and they've got a couple of guys, Quintana and Clark, that just really mash left-handed pitching. And then you're right, Ned, you put Greenwell and Boggs, and the 2 guys that are going to be in the lineup against left-handers, they handle them very well.
And you go to the bench, and Kevin Romine hits about .300 every year against left-handed pitching. And we got Steve Lyons going against right-handers as the other left-handed batter in the whole 25 players now, having acquired Lyons. He joins Greenwell and Boggs as the only left-handed hitters. 0-2 to Greenwell. Liner to third, and that's 2 outs. Kelly Gruber playing just right for Greenwell. Well wide of the bag at third and about medium deep.
Well, he plays Boggs and Greenwell just about in the same spot. He'll pull way over towards shortstop, just behind that bag, 3 or 4 steps behind the bag, and in perfect position for this line drive. A little late on the fastball for Greenwell, and right at Kelly Gruber at third. Very seldom do Boggs and Greenwell hit the ball right down the third base line over the bag.
Now here's Jack Clark, designated hitter. 3 hits last night, and he was hitting with a hand that bothered him. But he got 3 singles, hard singles. There's a strike to Clark, hitting .270 for the season. Couple of home runs, including the Grand Slam opening day in Toronto. He's knocked in 7 runs. Trying to pick up Jody Reed at second. Whoosh. 0-2. Myers and Boucher. Greg Myers caught the ball game last night. Has been doing the bulk of the catching. Bad start at the plate for the right-handed hitting Pat Borders. Wind whistling the flag out now from home plate toward center and toward left. And Clark to third. It's foul. Just along the line and kicking out foul when Gruber got it. 0-2.
Looks like Boucher changes speed as we look at the wind blowing straight out to that left field, over the left field wall. Looks like Boucher, very similar to Jimmy Key, but that breaking ball, that curveball, reminds me of the one that David Wells was throwing early in the game last night. Changes speeds on the curveball.
0-2 to Clark. Outfield straightaway deep. Shows him that fastball outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And he got him. Off-speed pitch. Clark strikes out. The Red Sox leave a runner, and after one inning, no score. All right, thanks, Bob. And there's nothing much happening here except some pretty good pitching by the youngster out on the mound now, Denis Boucher, and Roger Clemens. 0-0. Wade Boggs up. Ball one. Boggs grounded out to first base in the first inning. Two and 0. The Toronto AAA ball club, Syracuse, defeated Pawtucket 5-4. Each team getting 7 hits. Eric Hetzel, the loser. Phil Plantier hit a home run for the losing Paw Sox. They're thinking that maybe Toronto will yank that team out of Syracuse. They want a lot of stuff done. It sounds familiar, doesn't it? A lot of things done to the facility, and they may take them somewhere else. 3 balls and no strikes to Boggs. Three and one. Didn't take long for one manager to get cut in this young season at Philadelphia, off to a 3-9 start. Leva was fired, and Jim Fregosi, if he can't get something out of that stone. Long drive toward the triangle in center field. Long run. It is into the stands for a home run. Wade Boggs, 1-0 Boston. All of a sudden, it is Wade Boggs, home run hitter.
Yeah, when we broke this season, we expected more home runs from the Red Sox, but we certainly didn't expect them from Wade Boggs. This is kind of like going back a few years when he had the 20-plus home runs for the Red Sox, and again, pulling the ball. Center field bleachers this time. 3 home runs, 2 in the bullpen. Excuse me, 1 in the bullpen, 1 over the bullpen, and 1 in center field.
Well, he smashed that. Yeah, he got the win, but he hit it hard, and Devon White tried to give it chase and realized it was no go, and Boggs has number 3 for the season. 1-0 Boston. Welcome to Fenway, Denise. Youngster looks very poised out there. Has for the first couple of innings got out of a 2-on jam with nobody out in the second, but this time Boggs takes him downtown quickly. Jody Reed doubled to left field in the first inning. He's ahead on the count. Boggs got 3-0, then 3-1 before the home run. And now Jody Reed is 3-0. So Boucher is starting to rattle himself, getting way behind the first 2 hitters. Now he does the 3-1 job on Reed.
I'll tell you what, Ned, some of the home runs that we have seen hit so far this year have been, I mean, not just gone, but way gone. Some of them
been juiced.
Yeah.
Ball's been popping out. Reed with the foul ball and makes it 3-2.
Won't be long now before the talk about a live baseball will start.
Well, that was a couple of years ago, and then maybe back again. See how the ball is tightly wrapped by whom in Taiwan or wherever. Haiti. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Jode. Down towards short. Tough play for Reed, and he got him. Danny Lee with a nice play at shortstop gets Jody Reed. And he had to go across the body from deep in the hole.
I wonder why they put the best arm in the infield at shortstop. Here's a pretty good reason. I mean, he can't set up and plant. He just has to throw on the run, heading toward the left field line, and still able to get enough on this throw to get Jody Reed at first base. Now, Reed's not exactly slow down the line. That's a heck of a play by Manuel Lee.
Sure is. One of the most difficult. from the hole and going the other way and throwing across the body. Whew. These two teams are putting it on in this series.
Hey, it's fun to watch offense, but it's also fun to watch great defensive plays, and we've seen a bundle of them so far in this series.
1 ball and no strikes to Mike Greenwell. Greenwell lined to Kelly Gruber at third in the first. Off speed and 1 ball and 1 strike. Two and one. The fastball missing upstairs and another 3-1 count. That's 3 of them in a row this inning.
See what he does with Greenwell. With Boggs on the 3-1 count, he gave him the fastball, and that's what you would expect again if you're the left-handed hitter.
And there's one that they cannot get in the infield. Base hit by Greenwell into right. That past the dive of Alomar. Not much past the dive as Roberto sprung himself out trying to get that one.
Once again on the 3-1 count to the lefty, he does get the fastball and gets the head of the bat out. Perfect hitting situation for the left-handed hitter facing the left-handed pitcher. You want to stay ahead of him in the count so you get a chance to get this type of a pitch.
One out, 1 in, and 1 on right now in the Red Sox third inning, and they lead 1-0. And here's Jack Clark. Struck out on an off-speed breaking pitch in the first inning. Strike 1. Teams finish this one up tomorrow, and it'll be a 6 o'clock game. 6:05 starting time for the game. We'll be on at 6. Matt Young against Dave Steve. Steve finally won a ball game his last time out after losing 2 in a row. And Young has pitched well both times out to no decision. A ball and a strike. To right field, and Carter takes the line drive, will fire back toward first, a little bit wide, and Greenwell gets back. So Clark hits the ball fairly well to the opposite field, but is out, and there are 2 away.
A couple of times now tonight, Quintana in particular and Clark, he's thrown them so many off-speed pitches that when he did throw the fastball, the right-handed hitters were just a little bit behind. That's just good location there against Clark. He keeps it away from him on the outside part of the plate and makes him hit the ball to right field.
2 out. And the batter is Ellis Burks. Reached on an error by Gruber in the second. Strike 1. Wind whistling the flag out still. Red Sox lead 1-0 on the Boggs homer this inning. Talking about the Philadelphia managerial change and Jim Fregosi being chosen. Had been in the Cardinal organization, and last major league managing job he had was with the White Sox. He's getting a chance again. And the pickoff, maybe a balk. Let's see. No, he gets a steal out of it. Greenwell with such a big jump that they developed the play very slowly from Boucher over to first base. And Greenwell gets a stolen base.
Took him so long to get this over to first base that Greenwell just going on the first move right there. And that's very close to being a balk. You're right, Ned. I mean, everything's kind of going toward home. Then he just throws to first base. But Greenwell does the right thing. Once you get caught in that situation, just continue on to second base as hard as you can.
Puts himself into scoring position with a steal. And it's 1-1 to Clark. 2-1.
You're seeing more and more of that now. You know, they say, well, wait and see when the left-hander brings that foot across the rubber. Well, I always felt by that time it was too late to go.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of guys now, they just go on the first move. They actually guess. They'll go on the first move they see from a left-hander. As soon as he picks the foot up, they're gone.
And you see a lot of things that happen just there with a runner taking off. Most of the time, though, he is picked off.
A lot of times with left-handed pitchers, it takes them a long time to get the throw to first base, so you have that advantage as a base runner.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Burks. Three and 2. A lot of pitches thrown this inning by Boucher.
So again, we'll take a look at the move of Denny Boucher going to first base. Now watch how everything seems to be going toward home plate. Then at the last minute, he sees Greenwell take off, and he's just going to throw to first. If he hadn't got the stolen base, they could have called a balk on that.
Full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Greenwell at second, 2 outs. And a walk. Second walk given up by Boucher. Runners at first and second. 2 down, and Brunansky coming up. So Boucher has been behind the hitters. He was 3-1 to the first 3 hitters in this inning. 2 of them got on. Boggs with a homer, of course. Clark had a 2-1 count and lined out. Now he went 3-1 to Burks and walked him. 3-2 to Burks and walked him. Here's Galen Cisco.
I've seen so far from Boucher. The only thing that reminds me of Jimmy Key is actually his motion to home plate. Somebody told me that his fastball is better than Jimmy Key, but he has not shown that so far in this game, and he throws a lot more off-speed and breaking pitches than a Jimmy Key will throw. Works very deliberately, too. Takes a long time between pitches.
Gave up a double to Reed in the first inning. Got out of that by striking out Clark. Then in the second, an error behind him by Gruber, plus his own walk of Brunansky got him in difficulty. But he got out of that with the aid of a sparkling catch by Carter in right. He issued a leadoff homer to Boggs this inning, the third. Got Reed with a splendid play at short by Manny Lee. Gave up a single to Greenwell, who stole second. Clark is lined to right, and Burks has walked. Now Brunansky. He walked in the second. And a little gamesmanship that time by Brunansky, figuring the kid is taking too long. I'm going to back out on him.
Tell you what, the crowd really showed up tonight, Ned. The bleachers almost filled up now, and
yeah,
good walk-up crowd, I guess, tonight with the good weather.
May have been, because they have around section 1 to 4 starting the back seats are starting to fill up now, and the bleachers certainly did. 1 ball and no strikes. By far the best playing time weather-wise for Fenway this year. Brunansky has the count 2-0.
Continues to work behind a lot of the Red Sox hitters.
That can be doomsday eventually if you do that with this lineup too much. He's worked behind all this inning. There is a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 out.
Have to really tell yourself to wait. Even on the 2-0 count, he throws the changeup to Brunansky. To think up the middle to the opposite field.
2-1. 3-1. Another long count. Not full yet, but he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3-1 counts this inning. And now goes full to Brunansky, the second straight full count.
Got him that time. You saw Brunansky upset after the pitch. He threw the changeup on the 2-0 count, and Brunansky probably figured he was going to come back with that same pitch on the 3-1 count, but no. Buzzes the fastball on the inside corner, and you see the reaction from Brunansky. Like to have that one back. Too late.
We'll see what happens on the 3-2 now with 2 out, and the runners moving. And line toward left field, foul. Cracked into the crowd up there near the foul pole. 3-2.
He got it back all right on the 3-2 count, just out in front of it. Line shot, foul territory. Just about the same pitch as the one he took on the 3-1.
Waiting for that one. That had hit the wall. Been a run scored, but Burks might have only gotten to second base. The ball was hit so hard and bounced back. Ball 4, bases loaded. Brunansky walks. Burks to second. Greenwell to third. 3 on, 2 out, 1 run in. Red Sox leading 1-0, and the batter will be Carlos Quintana.
Saw the right-hander in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. That was Willie Frazier, just called up from Syracuse today. As Al Leiter has been put on the disabled list. Frazier up early in this game.
The career of Al Leiter just never did. At least it hasn't yet. The hard-throwing left-hander formerly with the Yankees, and they figured that he was going to be a Yankee for a long time and one of their top people as a starter. That good stuff, could throw hard. All of a sudden came over to Toronto, and he's had arm problems most of his career. Frazier, formerly with the California Angels, in the bullpen now for Toronto. Carlos Quintana was robbed of extra bases on that sliding catch by Carter in the gravel by the foul pole, in front of the foul pole, first time up. And he goes that way again, but an easier chance for Carter. He puts it away, and Boucher gets out of a real big jam with the bases loaded. He issues 1 run, the homer to Boggs. After 3, Red Sox lead it 1-0. Roger Clemens has a 1-0 lead thanks to Wade Boggs' home run. We're going to the top of the 4th inning, and here's a pretty good graphic we've got for you. Winning percentage, which is one thing you always thought about Whitey Ford, because he always had those 16 and 5 years. Spud Chandler of the Yankees. Clemens 700 behind Chandler with a minimum of 100 wins for these pitchers. Rashi, of course, and Lefty Grove, Robert Moses Grove. Played for Philadelphia and Boston. Won 300 ball games. You win 300 and you have a good percentage like that, means you're really pitching. Sometimes the 300 win pitchers lose 256. 1 ball and 1 strike to Alomar, who went down swinging in the first inning. One of the 5 Clemens strikeouts so far. Tapped. Clemens. And throws it a little bit high, but he's got him. Nice recovery by Quintana at first base.
It's the second time now in a couple of outings for Clemens he's had the trouble throwing over to first base. That time he quickly set to try not to think about it very much and get rid of the ball as fast as possible, but still the ball went up in the air, and Quintana had to make a pretty nifty play to jump, make the play, and then put the tag on Alomar.
There's 1 out. And here's Kelly Gruber. Hits a ball. Gruber struck out swinging in the first. For a big man, Clemens has shown the ability to get off that mound very well on the little taps back to him. He makes good reaction stops at the mound. There's a shot by Gruber toward the wall, rising high and off the wall. Taken quickly by Greenwell. He throws to second base. It's a double. Kelly Gruber with a hustle double, barreling in on his chest. Nice play by Greenwell to get it back in a hurry, but it's double all the way for Gruber with one out.
As a base runner here at Fenway Park, once you make the contact and you know you've hit it well, you know it's going to be off the wall, you've really got to hustle because there's no guarantee on a double, especially on a ball that's hit that hard. Nicely played by Greenwell on one hop. He just gets it caught up in his glove a little bit longer than he would like, and that was probably the difference of getting Gruber at second base. See Reed make the sweep tag, and he really not going to get any part of Gruber, just tag the bag. But I tell you, there are no sure doubles when you hit the ball that hard off the wall at Fenway.
Runner at second base, one out. And here's Carter. Joe singled his first time up. Jays have 3 hits off Roger. Carter goes quickly foul down the right side. He went after the first pitch in the second inning when he singled to left.
Well, Joe Carter has never been one to hang around home plate for a long time. He does not walk very much. Last year, only 48 walks on the season, and that's a pretty good size year for him walk-wise.
It is. No, he's hacking. Strike 2 from Clemens. 0-2 to Carter.
Pena liked that pitch a lot better, the breaking ball. That time he kept it away on the outside corner. The one to Gruber was out over the middle of the plate, and the first one to Carter in the same spot.
Goes up the ladder that time with a fastball, trying to get Carter to leave his feet on it. Ball 1. 1-2. It's looped toward right field, slicing toward foul territory. It is foul. Rocky Rowe following that ball right down the line in right. The Red Sox catch a little break there. That ball had a chance to slice in there.
Once again, just like back in the first inning, I believe we have a fan making a catch on another foul ball, this time down the right field line. Once again, that much foul territory down in that area when you get toward that foul pole, and I believe a fan's going to reach out here and make the play.
Try to make the play anyway. It goes right down, that line goes right into the pole there, right along the railing, making no room for error or judgment for a right fielder crashing toward that wall. It's one of the things that Dwight Evans said was so peculiar and so tough about right field in Fenway.
What's that foul pole, about 298?
Around that, yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Carter. Down to shortstop. They'll make a play at third. No, not quite. Naring goes to first. Almost too late, but Carter is out. And on the play, Gruber goes to third. It's surprising because the play was right in front of Naring. He decided to get the safe out. He let Gruber go right by him.
I think the only reason Naring did not go to third base is because of where he ended up feeling the ball. He did not have a good angle to throw to third base to get Gruber. That's certainly taken a chance. Right there, if he throws it, he may hit Gruber in the back with the ball, so he decides to go to first and just barely gets Joe Carter, who was getting down that line.
Runner at third base, 2 outs now, and Olerud is up. Tries to abort the swing, and it's strike 1. John Olerud grounded into a 3-6-3 double play in the second. Rogers had him pretty much on the hip so far in his young major league career, Olerud. Sticks it inside, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, if you're a manager of the ball club or a fan at the ballpark and you see a guy like Joe Carter hit a ground ball to shortstop, you big power hitter on your ball club, and run the ball out as hard as you possibly can, that's something.
Yep, and he almost beat that throw.
That's the way to play the game.
Yes, exactly. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. He crowds Olerud, and it's 1-2. Made that one almost impossible for Olerud to hit as he was standing there. This ties him up inside. 1-2. Tony Pena trying to get a little steal in the call that time. It's ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Both Pena, Clemens, and I think all the rest of the Red Sox had one step toward the dugout. But they had that call on the inside corner.
That's where Roger has lived on Olerud the last 3 pitches. Gets it out over the plate a little bit more this time and fouled off. The count 2-2. Red Sox lead 1-0. We're in the top of the 4th. If you just came in, Wade Boggs accounted for the Red Sox run with a homer in the bottom of the 3rd. Goes down a little bit for ball 3. Full count.
Chalk up another save in the column for Tony Pena, saving a run for the Red Sox. A split-fingered fastball from Clemens down in the dirt, and again Pena clean with the catch on it.
A challenge, of course, with Clemens pitching and throwing that forkball as hard as he does, because it goes a lot of times, dips down into the dirt, and you just got to block it. Cast your body in front of it.
Take those plays for granted so many times, but the ball gets by Payne and it's a 1-1 game.
And there is ball 4. A little bit of a hesitation by Olerud. Pena thought he had it, and Clemens thought he had a shot at it. And there is the first walk given up by Clemens. Runners at 1st and 3rd.
Pretty good at bat that time for Olerud. They tried everything on him. The fastball, the forkball, and that last pitch was a slider from Clemens. And pretty good eye shown right there by Olerud to get the walk.
2 on, 2 out. The hitter is Mullenix. Grants went down swinging in the 2nd. Ball 1.
At least Cousins consistent back there. That was just about the same pitch.
1 ball and no strikes to Rance Mullenix. Gruber, the runner, at 3rd. Olerud at 1st. And there's 2-0. Clemens behind on the count. 3 balls, no strikes. Roger all of a sudden kind of fighting hitters. He was ahead of Olerud and then walked him. Now he is 3-0 to Mullenix. The on-deck hitter is the left-handed hitting catcher Greg Myers, and it's ball 4. That loads the bases. Olerud to 2nd. Gruber stays at 3rd. There are 2 outs.
All of a sudden, it was a breeze for Clemens up to this point, and he's had a struggle of it this inning, struggling a little bit with his control. Only 1 hit in the inning. That's the double by Gruber, but then a couple of walks to 2 left-handers, Olerud and Mullenix.
Facing Greg Myers, who gave the ball a pretty good ride his first time up, lining out to Burks in center field. Now Jody Reeds hangs around, checking things off with Roger. 3 on, 2 out. Top of the 4th. Red Sox leading 1-0. The batter, Greg Myers. The outfield pulled well around toward right on Myers. That one skied foul to the left side. Greenwell had gone toward right, left center, and then kind of moved over toward the line a couple of steps before that foul ball.
I guess it would be fair to say Clemens struggling because he only walked one guy coming into the game tonight. Now he has 2 in 1 inning, so.
That's right. 1 walk all season coming into this one. 0-1. Taps slowly down to Jody Reed, and he will get him for the out. And the Jays leave the bases loaded. After 3.5, Red Sox 1, the Blue Jays 0. Going to the bottom of the 6th inning, the Red Sox leading 1-0 on a Wade Boggs homer in the 3rd. Denis Boucher pitching himself back into a game, kind of, and had a 1-2-3 inning in the 5th. Down on the scoreboard in the American League, Texas got 3 runs in the 4th. They tied up Milwaukee 5-5 now in a barn burner at County Stadium. Ruben Sierra's homered for Texas, and Robin Yount has gotten his 4th of the year for the Brewers. 3-run job for Yount in the 2nd. Boucher inside on Brunansky, who has walked twice already.
Got a score on the hockey game, 4-2 Montreal after 2 periods up in Montreal.
Brunansky fouling it off. Tom walked in the 2nd and again in the 3rd. His walk in the 3rd inning loaded the bases, but Boucher got Quintana on a fly ball to get out of that jam.
Probably the only guy in this park that likes that hockey score is a guy pitching for Toronto, Boucher.
That's right.
Born in Montreal.
Weaned on hockey, which will not be the home of Rocket Ismail. It will be Toronto, where he will hold forth for as many years as he wants, I suppose. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hard to Gruber, and Kelly Gruber makes the play on Brunansky. Nice job backhanding it in the dirt.
Those are the kind of plays that won Kelly Gruber a Gold Glove last year at 3rd base. And again, another difficult play. The 3rd time tonight he's had to go to the backhand. Just about falling down. Again, the ball comes up on Gruber, but still regroups in time to make the throw across the diamond to get Brunansky. Have not had easy plays down there tonight.
No, a lot of things fired down his way. 1 ball and no strikes to Quintana. Twice Quintana has flied to Joe Carter. Carter making a scintillating catch in the 2nd and a routine catch to end the 3rd. 1-1. Yankees lead the Tigers 4-0 in the 7th at New York. Mattingly and Roberto Kelly have homered for New York. Tanana against Island in that one. Kirk Gibson has hit his 5th home run of the season for Kansas City. 2-1. Leading the American League in homers as Kansas City leads Cleveland 6-0 going into the 8th. Still raining in Chicago. Nothing happening. Baltimore and the White Sox. Quintana up on the count. 3 balls, 1 strike. And it is Oakland 6 and Minnesota 0 at the Metrodome in the 4th inning. Steinbach has homered for Oakland. Up the middle for Quintana, and he is 1 for 3.
Just a matter of time before Quintana got his base hit off the left-handed pitcher. A couple of fly balls to right field, the first 2 at bats. That time gets out in front of the fastball and drives it right back up the middle. Very seldom will Quintana go hitless in a game against a left-handed pitcher.
That's the 5th hit for Boston. They have a man on with 1 out, and Pena is the batter. Tony is 1 for 2, had to double the 4th inning. Bob McDonald and Jim Acker warming in the bullpen now for Toronto. Boucher has wobbled, struggled from time to time, but has gotten out of jams and is in a 1-run game, trailing Roger Clemens 1-0. Shown a great deal of poise in this ball game while having his problems with the Red Sox hitters at times and pitching behind batters a lot. Oh, he tried to pick him off and throws wild. Quintana goes to second base, and he will hold there. The ball picked up by Alomar. So they try once too often at first base, and it's an error charged to Boucher. Red Sox have a runner at second.
Once again, Quintana getting a lot of attention at first base with the pickoff throw, and it's certainly not because he's a stolen base threat, but I think in this situation, Quintana on first and Payne at the plate, they're thinking more in line of the hit and run and see if Quintana would give something away. Well, that throw away from Olerud, and Quintana gets himself in scoring position.
Carlos had to dig to get back in there at first. They did have him a little bit off the bag there, but the throw was way high. And now the Red Sox have a pad run in scoring position. Pena is crowded, and it's a strike. National League, the Mets lead the Phillies 2-0 after 6. Darling against Coombs. The Pirates 5, Montreal 1 after 3. Van Slyke is homered for Pittsburgh. Cardinals lead the Cubs 4-0 after 3. Don Zimmer's Cubs having trouble these days. Walton has homered for Chicago. Pena to left field this time, and it's Mookie Wilson taking the line drive. Quintana back to second. Ball hit well, and Mookie Wilson toward the line. 2 outs. Ball's been hit hard in this inning off Boucher, but it's still 2 outs and a runner at second.
A nice piece of hitting that time by Pena, too. He stayed right on the curveball from Boucher and hit a rocket toward left field, but Mookie Wilson again playing very deep and only had to go to the line about 3 or 4 steps to make the catch. Well, more than 3 or 4, Ned, maybe 7 or 8, but not a difficult play at all. And Pena not happy. He knew he hit the ball right in the button, but nothing to take to the bank.
Tim Naring has popped up and sacrificed. Ball 1. Cincinnati at Houston tonight, no score in the second. San Diego at San Francisco, and Atlanta at LA later. Here it is 1-0, Boston leading. And the Red Sox batting in the bottom of the 6th. Two and 0. Two out. Quintana at second. Down to short. And Lee, low throw, everybody's safe. Olerud off the bag, made sure that he stopped the ball. Manny Lee had the ball. Trying to get Naring at first base for the final out. Throws it low and to the right field side of first. And an error charged to Lee.
Hey, Manny Lee at shortstop tried to rush his throw to first, and you got to give a little credit to Olerud at first base for reading the throw and getting off the bag to make the block. If you try to stretch on the bag there and the ball gets by you, Pena's going to score. Excuse me, Quintana's going to score from second base.
Here's an inning that's not entirely Boucher's fault, except for the overthrow at first. Gave up a hit on his own error. Now the error by Lee, which should have been the 3rd out of the inning. And Cito Gaston out to talk to the young left-hander and his catcher. And Acker and McDonald. McDonald just called up from Syracuse, working in the bullpen for Toronto. And Gaston goes with Boucher. The batter will be Boggs. Runners at first and third. A one-run ball game. Boggs responsible for the Red Sox run. Will a home run in the third. He has sandwiched 2 ground balls around that homer. Now they're going to check off Gaston. Myers, the catcher, calling out to his pitcher.
Letting the middle infielders know where he's going to throw the ball if there was any kind of a double steal attempt.
Blocked by Myers. Ball 1. Boy, Boucher has been like the perils of Pauline all night long. He's walked that tightrope and has gotten out of some big jams. Right now he's in another one. Two and nothing to Boggs. Reed on deck.
So again, he falls behind the left-handed hitter. Now Boggs is in that situation again where he could possibly get that 2-0 fastball, something he can drive.
Got ahead on the count for his home run in the third inning. Ball 3.
Didn't get it that time, did he? He got the breaking ball.
Three balls, no strikes, 2 outs and 2 on. And the pickoff attempt and a balk called. That'll score a run. This time the left-hander commits himself too much to home plate. And in an attempt to pick Naring off, commits a balk. And the Red Sox do get that run in anyway. They lead 2-0.
Absolutely unnecessary for Boucher to go to first base on that particular play. 3 balls, no strikes on the hitter. The Red Sox aren't going anywhere, and he commits the balk. And again, they could have called him for one earlier in the game. He's just stopped. You see where that front foot is? It's almost coming to home plate, and then he makes the throw to first.
So he walks Boggs, and runners are at first and second. That's going to be all. And a young pitcher making mistakes like that, and in the tight of things, stayed in this ball game, still is in it, but had a chance possibly. He could have pitched around Boggs, didn't matter. Boggs could walk anyway.
That's the 3rd balk that he had committed so far this season, and all 3 have been just about the same way.
A walk to Boggs, and runners are at first and second, and a new pitcher coming in. We'll be back in just a moment. Jim Acker is the new pitcher and throws to Jody Reed low and inside, ball 1. The Red Sox have runners at first and second. Acker is the new pitcher. 2 outs in the 6th inning, and the Red Sox now leading 2-0. Second run coming in on the balk by Boucher. Acker so far this year has done a very good job for Gaston. 1 ball and 1 strike. Trying to bail the Jays out of this situation now. Pitching to Reed, who's had a double. Grounded to short, robbed of a hit by Lee, and bunted into a double play. Down to third, Taylor made for Gruber to step on the bag for the force out to end the inning. But the Red Sox get an important run, and after 6, they lead 2-0. Red Sox and Roger Clemens with a 2-0 lead after 6. And what is, well, if you call it a subpar performance by Clemens, he still has some shut out. And that's what he's done through 6 innings. No runs, 5 hits, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, and now 29 consecutive scoreless innings. The Blue Jays have threatened but have not been able to get that run across. The Blue Jays have stranded 5. They've had more than that on base. They've hit into a double play. They've been out stealing. Red Sox themselves have put 6, 7, 9 men left on base, but they lead 2-0. Denis Boucher went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits and 2 runs, 1 of them earned, walked 4, 1 intentional. He struck out 3, and he had a balk. He struck out 2. So the youngster done for the evening, but a 2-0 ball game still cooking here in the top of the 7th. Rance Mullenix, strike 1.
You have to give some credit to Boucher, Ned. You're facing a guy like Clemens. You know that you're probably not going to score many runs for your team, and you know he kept them right in the ball game. Only 2 runs in the game, and he struggled early in the game.
He hung very tough and left a lot of people on base, and actually could have gotten out of that inning, but for his own throwing error, then a 2-out error by his shortstop, and then that unaccountable balk, with little inexperience showing there to further the inning. And on that balk, a run scored. 1-2.
Once again, we have action in the Red Sox bullpen, and it's kind of been the same pattern. Any game the Red Sox have been ahead in. Jeff Gray starting to loosen up.
Boy, he's worked a lot so far in this season. Done a good job. Had trouble up at Toronto and has come right back and been an ideal setup man. 1-2 to Mullenix, and outside. Hits the ball, says Joe Brinkman. 2-2.
I believe Clemens and Pena thought they had it on the pitch itself. Never mind the check swing.
Rogers thrown a few pitches tonight. In the innings that Boucher worked, he threw 101 pitches. And Mullenix takes ball 3, and Clemens again has the 3-2 count. Five of them, and all 5 have been in the last 3 and 2 in the 3rd innings, 3 innings. He walks Mullenix to open the 7th. 3rd walk-off Clemens.
You mentioned so many times there's a communication between Clemens and Joe Morgan on just how he feels after every inning. When he starts to get to around the 6th, 7th inning, he'll be honest with both Bill Fisher and Joe Morgan, and that's the reason you see Gray starting to get loose now. Clemens probably told him, look, I'll give you 1 more in the 7th, and if it goes fairly easily, maybe I can go on.
Myers is the hitter, ball 1. So Roger went to 3 and 2 on Mullenix, walked him. Hot shot, and Quintana has one out there. The tag play, double play. Right there, tailor-made for Carlos Quintana. He was holding the bag anyway against Mullenix, did the right thing, stepped on the bag for the play there. That takes off the force, of course, and Naring had to put the tag on Mullenix coming in.
Second time tonight, Quintana's been involved in a double play against a left-handed hitter to help Clemens out. That time just a little bit different, as you mentioned it. Tag the bag, get yourself inside, give a good throw to Naring, and let him do the rest of the work with the tag.
2 outs. And here's Lee. Ball 1 to Manuel. He is singled and struck out. Morgan is the kind of manager, a little old-fashioned in the way, and rightly so. He likes to see his starting pitcher go as far as he can. He'd love to see him go 9. That doesn't often happen these days with deep bullpens, but Joe has not had at least this kind of bullpen to work with until now. So far, it's been able to work for him. But he said, I'm not talking about a 6-inning pitcher. I don't want my starters to develop into 6-inning pitchers.
He was talking about that very thing this afternoon on the bench, and they're saying that's the one thing that's really changed about the game is the fact that now you look at a guy for hopefully 7 innings, you look for a setup guy, then your closer.
There is a strike whipped by Lee, and the count is 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs in the 7th. Red Sox leading 2-0. Weird and wacky game so far in a lot of respects. Some fine fielding plays on each side. And Manuel Lee gets a walk, the second of the inning given up by Roger. So he's still struggling with his control. That's his 4th walk. Morgan out to the mound.
He just looked like a tired pitcher that time, working to Manuel Lee.
Gray is certainly ready in the bullpen if needed. Roger can talk about the next hitter, who is Mookie Wilson. Wilson has struck out, and he had a single off the body of Clemens in the 5th inning, and Roger stays in.
Clemens threw 123 pitches last time out against the Kansas City Royals in the 8 innings he worked against Saberhagen. And we don't have a pitch count to this point in this game, but I believe it's got to be up there.
Well, he's about matched the other guy, Boucher, who threw 101 in the 5 2/3 innings that he worked. Roger working into the 7th now.
Of course, we've done games, Ned, where Clemens has thrown 150 plus pitches, but they would prefer that not happen, and especially early in the season, making it a little stronger for the end of the season.
He blows the fastball by Wilson. Strike 1. Clemens has struck out 7 while walking 4. That in itself showing that he has thrown a lot of pitches. Been to some long counts. Slapped foul into the crowd at 3rd. And it's 0-2. Nothing in 2 to Mookie Wilson. Tapped towards short, Naring with it, just out at first base. Very close play at first. They got him, and Clemens gets out of it. So we go to the bottom of the 7th, and it's 2-0 Boston. Thanks, Bob. 2-0. Red Sox lead it in a grinder here at Fenway. About a 2.5-hour ball game right now. Bottom of the 7th inning. And Jim Acker, into his first full inning of pitching, faces Mike Greenwell. Acker came on to relieve Boucher and got Reed on a fielder's choice to end the 6th. Greenwell is 1 for 3. High, deep right field. Carter back. He will not get this one. Gone for a homer. Number 2 for Mike Greenwell, and a 3-0 Red Sox lead.
Left-handers doing the damage with the long ball tonight for the Red Sox. Boggs with the home run back in the 3rd inning, and now Greenwell going over the Red Sox bullpen. Joe Cotta trying to climb that fence in right field, but once again, that ball crushed.
Jack Clark slams one foul. So the Homer Hammerers are doing it again tonight, and the Red Sox have a 3-0 lead.
Acker, not an easy guy to hit a home run off of either. He generally keep that ball down. A good sinking fastball.
Pitched well against the Red Sox up there. Working to Clark. Jack has struck out twice, wrapping those strikeouts around a line drive to right. A ball and 2 strikes. Down to Gruber. 1 out.
The 12, Bird. Center fielder Bird.
You're going to eat all that, Jerry? two pieces of chocolate cake.